Today, I'm going to be sharing with you guys how after months of trying, I have successfully shifted my wake up time back to 5 a.m. and I could not be more excited. So for 15 years, I worked at a hospital that was 45 minutes away from me and I had to be to work at 6:30 in the morning. That means by default, I had to be a morning person. I had to go to bed earlier. I had to get up early because I had to be to work most of the time before it got dark. However, then the pandemic started. I started working from home more. Then in December of 2020, I actually took a different job, and this job I primarily work from home with travel. So guess what happened? I started staying up later and later and later and later and started sleeping in later and later and later and later. Obviously, I would have to get up and, get my kids ready for school and get to work at 7:30, but I just felt like my day was kind of being wasted. I am by default a morning person. Even when I had to get up so early all of those years, I still prefer to get up early in the morning and go to bed earlier at night. I just feel my most productive and focused in the morning. So I recognized this about myself, and I've been trying for the past several months to do something about it, and I finally found a method that works. I've tried several different methods and morning routines, but I was actually poking around on YouTube several weeks ago for some kind of productivity and self-improvement videos, and I found a book that I had never heard of before. The book is called The 5 a.m. Club by Robin Sharma. Now, there are a ton of resources and Facebook groups and YouTube videos about this. I did download the Audible book and I tried to listen to it. I think that the book itself is very divisive, meaning there are a lot of people that really like the style of it, and there are a lot of people that don't care for the style of it. It's written in a way where it's meant to be a nonfiction book, i.e. he's trying to give you this framework of how to get up at 5 a.m. and make it a habit, but he tells it in a storytelling method that I personally feel is kind of cringy. And so I personally didn't care for the book, but that's not really what I was interested in, right? I was interested in the method itself. So first off, if you've read this book before or if you've heard of it, I would love to hear what your thoughts are in the comments below. Obviously, we all like different things, so I don't want to discourage anyone from reading it. But anyway, here is the premise of the 5 a.m. Club by Robin Sharma. So Robin says that you can find no better time to master yourself than between 5 and 6 a.m. He calls it the victory hour because he said it is the time of least distraction and greatest insight. He says that it's when we can get clarity and confidence and do something calm and invigorating to have success for the remainder of the day. He provides the 60-minute formula to accelerate your personal development. So he calls it a 20-20-20 formula. You get up at 5, you spend the first 20 minutes sweating or exercising, then you spend 20 minutes reflecting, and then you spend your last 20 minutes either learning or growing. I think the reason why I was really attracted to this method is because it was simple and it also felt attainable. I also checked out The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. You guys have probably heard of that before too. And that is much more of a complex morning routine. And I feel like when you're starting something new like this, you have to start small. That is sort of how you make change stick, right? 20 minutes seems like a very attainable amount of time to exercise, even if you're someone like me who has not been exercising consistently for quite some time. I feel that that is quite attainable. So what I want to do is sort of describe this 20-20-20 framework to you, and then we are going to go into my first 5 days of the 5 a.m. Club and what my results were and how it went. Okay, so I just want to take a quick moment to thank Ombre Labs for sponsoring today's video. You guys know that I have sort of been on this journey of figuring out why I'm so dang tired all the time. Part of it is that some of my vitamin and iron levels were low, which I'm working on. But I also wanted to mention that if you guys are struggling with a health issue and can't figure out the cause, your gut may be to blame. If you're struggling with bloating, constipation, or abdominal pain, or maybe maintaining a healthy unhealthy weight or struggling with constantly getting sick or skin blemishes or even your energy levels, happiness, and mental health, and you can't figure out what the cause is, the answer could literally be found in your gut. As we know, your gut contains trillions of bacteria, both good and bad, and when your body doesn't have enough good bacteria, the bad bacteria flourishes. When this happens, you can start getting symptoms. Ombre Labs makes it really easy to measure your gut health by offering an at-home test that can measure your bacteria levels by testing your poop. Yes, we are all adults here, so we're going to talk about this. The test will ship straight to your door with easy to follow collection instructions. Don't worry, it's all very sanitary. And upon receiving your results, Ombre Labs will give you a detailed breakdown of your gut bacteria, the health issues that it may be causing you, and what specific foods you need to consume more or less of to improve your health. This was the part that I was particularly interested in. You can see here on the screen some of the foods that they are recommending me. I am definitely working on incorporating more of these into my diet. And then they also give you a list of foods to avoid. I was also definitely very excited to see that I'm not lactose intolerant. Holla. That made my day. But Ombre will also help develop personalized probiotics to help heal your gut with a subscription. And so if you guys are struggling with any of these symptoms I mentioned and want to see if your poop has the answers, you can visit tryombre.com/Jen to get $30 off your test. I'll have the link in the description box below. That is spelled tryombre.com/Jen to get 30% off your test, which is a huge discount. So for the first 20 minutes, Robin recommends that you sweat. So from 5 to 5:20, he recommends that you either walk on a treadmill or ride a spin bike or do a yoga practice or go for a run. Either way, you are flooding your brain with endorphins, and this helps you wake up for the day and think faster and just be sharper in general. He encourages you to have your workout clothes and your shoes ready in the morning so that there are no barriers to that. Have your workout playlist ready, and when the clock turns 5 a.m., roll out of bed and get to exercising. No snooze button. From 5:20 to 5:40, he recommends that you reflect. So there are a number of different ways you can do this. Some people pray, some people do meditation. I actually chose most days to work in my planner. I think that that's definitely a time of calm and reflection, and it helps me to sort of plan out my day, see what I have going on, and overall helps give me a more productive day and reduce my anxiety. Another great thing to do during this time would be to journal if you are into that. For the last 20 minutes from 5:40 to 6 a.m., this is your quote victory hour, as he describes it. So in this 20 minutes, you are supposed to spend time learning or growing. So whether you want to read a book or listen to a podcast or watch a documentary, or maybe you want to take an online course, this time is reserved for you to do some adult learning. The reason I really like this framework is that I really think it's practical, and for someone like me who has really busy days, it is helpful to set this time aside because I do like to consume adult learning, online courses, that type of thing. And so this was really interesting and achievable for me as well. So this is the formula that I'm going to be attempting to follow for the foreseeable future. But today I'm just sharing with you guys the first 5 days that I did. So let's get started. Good morning. Let's exercise, shall we? It's very early. On day 1, I did roll out of bed at 5 a.m. You can see the time on my watch here is almost 5:10. Of course, I do have to give a little bit of time to kind of wake myself up, brush my teeth, get some water, put my shoes on before I get on my spin bike. All right, so that was good. And of course, it's never as bad as you think it's gonna be, right? Not that I thought it would be bad. I'm just not used to getting up and exercising first thing, but it's kind of nice to have it done for the day. I'm doing my greens. I put my water in the fridge the night before, and I normally put some like sugar-free flavoring in it because it makes the greens taste a lot better. Not that these actually don't taste terrible. They're actually one of the better greens powders that I've tried, but I'm gonna put a drop of D3 in there. And then I also have been doing half a dose of iron supplement every day because my hemoglobin was super low. I'm trying to get that back up so that Wow, so one, I feel better, and two, maybe at some point I can donate blood again. Okay, so here I am on day one doing some of my planning before work. This was actually really helpful for me to do. I try to honestly do my planning weekly on Sunday evenings, but I did not get it done on this particular week. And so it was helpful for me to go through my work schedule for the day. And even though I have an Outlook calendar, I do prefer to write down my appointments. That way, if I'm doing something on my computer and I can't virtually see my calendar, I can kind of just look over at my schedule at a glance and see what I have going on. There's also data and studies out there to suggest that your brain processes information in a different way when you write it down. It helps you process information, hence why we take notes when we want to remember something. And so just the act of that for me is very helpful in sort of solidifying in my mind what I want to do for the day. And I feel like it makes me more productive in that I know how much time I have in between my calls and meetings, and then I can work to be productive and make the most of those. I definitely want to work on providing more organization and planning and productivity content on my channel. That's one of my goals for the remainder of this year and going forward. So make sure that you stick around for that. It's not something I'm perfect at, right? I'm still growing and learning every day, as we all are. But it's something I get a lot of questions about. And so I feel like, I can share and we can all grow and learn together. Okay, so it's a little bit later now, but for my learning today, I started watching Inequality for All, which is a documentary with Robert Reich, and I watched that while I got ready this morning, so kind of killed two birds with one stone there. So I've already been working for a little bit this morning. Well, actually, I've already been working for a little over an hour this morning, but I thought I would give you my first impressions of today. I thought it was great, actually. I had motivation to get up, get the exercise part out of the way. I am not a person I shouldn't say I don't enjoy exercising, because I don't necessarily dislike it if it's doing something that I like to do. So it was fine. It was fun. I had my greens. I worked in my planner, got ready, watched part of a documentary. Yeah, so actually Adam said he's gonna do it with me tomorrow morning, so we'll see. But overall, good first day. Hopefully I can, keep this up and just build my habits, right? Here we are on day 2 during my 20-minute SoulCycle spin bike ride. Could you believe that I actually sort of looked forward to getting up and doing this morning? I don't really look like it, but I did. I really did. Good morning, guys. Happy day 2. So I just finished doing my bike ride and I'm making my greens. My other bottle is still dirty because guess what? I didn't do my dishes last night. So I'm gonna do my stuff a little bit out of order today. Instead of planning or meditating right now, I'm actually going to do my dishes, and I'll probably listen to a podcast or an audiobook while I do that, and then after I get upstairs and get myself ready, then I'll do my 20 minutes of planning for the day, because I do have kind of a busy day today at work. So I'm gonna put my vitamin D in here. Cannot tell you how much better I feel finally having figured out the iron supplement issue and taking vitamin D. I used to feel like so tired and just worn down all the time, like every afternoon I felt like I wanted to take a nap. It's like, who wants to live like that? Especially when I have to work. I can't just be taking naps in the middle of the day, I did put a little bit of ice in there because I prefer it to be really cold. But anyway, of course, having low hemoglobin, one of the signs of that too is shortness of breath. And I used to notice, when I was filming grocery hauls, that some people would comment and they'd be like, why do you seem like you're out of breath? And I wasn't out of breath, but or at least I didn't really feel like it. But there would be several times where I'd have to stop and take a deep breath, where I felt like I couldn't. I don't know, I don't exactly know how to explain it. It's not necessarily I was short of breath, but I don't know, it's weird. But now that I've been taking iron supplements, I feel I just feel a lot better. So, all right, I'm gonna do my dishes and listen to my podcast and then probably go get ready. Good morning, happy day 3. So I'm just mixing up my greens powder. I do highly recommend that you mix it with some kind of flavoring. That has honestly helped me to take it regularly. And that's the whole point, right? So I got up this morning and I did 20 minutes on the SoulCycle. This morning I did it a little different. I actually did a 10-minute like stretching class, and then I did a 10-minute regular like bike ride class for my 20 minutes because I woke up feeling like super stiff and sore, so that was helpful. And then I also did 15 minutes of meditation. I just found a meditation on YouTube and laid down, closed my eyes, did that. And then while I was getting ready, I listened to a planner type productivity video on YouTube. So I'm not gonna lie, I was tired this morning. I did not want to get out of bed, but I did go to bed at a pretty decent time last night. I was in bed by like 10:15, which is good for me. That's the whole point of me doing this, is to try to like shift my bedtime earlier and my wake up time earlier and still get enough sleep in. So it's about 6:45 right now. I'm gonna go ahead and get the kids off to school and get to work for the day. And unless I do anything noteworthy later today, depending on what I have for lunch today, I might show that to you guys a little bit later. Good morning. Happy day 4. Is it a habit yet? I think it actually takes 28 days to make a habit, right? So what, 4 down, 24 to go. Oh, it says my Wi-Fi's not working. For real? All right, let's find a class to do. Oh, when you wake up and the internet's not working, that's not good. Okay, I have to fix that and then I can start. All right, I think it's working. Yes, you have to have Wi-Fi to play the classes on SoulCycle. And I had to bust out my bike shorts. I highly recommend the padded bike shorts if you're gonna do spin bike stuff, because it starts to hurt your butt after a while. All right, so I'm doing my athletic greens. Let me find a flavor here. I honestly have been really liking exercising first thing in the morning. I honestly never thought I was a person that would or could do this. I think probably the last time I have really exercised first thing in the morning consistently is when I was in high school, which was a long damn time ago. Ever since then, I have obviously not been consistent about exercising, but during the times that I have never, I don't know, I just never either preferred to do it in the morning or thought that I was a person that would like to do it in the morning. And for so long, it would have been really difficult for me to do it first thing in the morning, because for the longest time I had to be to work at 6:30 a.m. and I had a 45-minute commute. So I would have to leave my house by 5:30, 5:45, which means that if I was really going to get a workout in, I probably would have had to get up around 4:15, which that was just way too early for me. I mean, I would have had to go to bed consistently at 9 p.m. and that just wasn't happening. So now that I have the ultimate privilege, I call it a privilege because I am forever grateful that I get to work from home. It just allows for so much more flexibility in terms of like your scheduling. You know, not having that 2 hours in the car every day is just like, oh my gosh. It's like life-changing. Honestly, it's life-changing. Yeah, for 14 years, I had that, you know, almost 2-hour commute every day. I say 2 hour because it could be up to 1 hour each way if the traffic was bad. And then of course my kids were in daycare during that time. So, you know, there was always like having to pick them up from daycare, run them to daycare before and after school. Well, and Adam usually would do the mornings, and that's why I would go to work early so that I could get off earlier. And get them picked up and then take them to their after school activities. I will tell you one thing is that the swim season is over after this week, and I am so glad. Like, it has been the longest season. I don't know why. I'm so glad to have my evenings back for a while. Of course, Connor will still be in soccer, but that's not as intense. They don't have practice every single night, and then Kira will be done with everything for a while. So they do have swim in the summer, but it's normally during the day, so that's kind of nice too. Then you don't have your evenings full of practices. So okay, so I think this morning what I'm gonna do is probably go upstairs, take a shower, do my learning while I'm getting ready. I'll probably watch a YouTube video or listen to a podcast or something. And then for my meditation / planning, I'll just, after I get ready, I'll do that on my own. Probably work in my planner for planning out the day. And then of course it will be time to get the kids ready for school. Good morning. Day 5. Day 5. It is 5:15. Okay, I'm going to do a 20-minute workout and then decide what I'm going to do next. Okay, so day 5, I decided to work on my to-do list for the upcoming weekend. I like to do this every once in a while for the planning period of my day because I think sometimes it just helps to get everything down on paper. I don't know about you guys, but I just always feel like there are a million things swirling around in my head. Like, you know, it's mom brain. Like, who needs what permission slip signed? What has to be taken back to the store? What do you need to order from Amazon? Who's out of shampoo? You guys know, like, all the things that swirl around in your head. And sometimes the most helpful thing that you can do is just to dump them all out on paper. I call it a brain dump. Usually what I do is I just write everything that comes to mind, and then I can sort of prioritize it, right? So I have things that I have to do, things that I need to do, and things that I want to do. Obviously, the time sensitive things that I have to do, I can prioritize those first. And sometimes we put off tasks that are just very minute. Like, for example, you may have to call and schedule a dentist appointment or something like that. I mean, that takes like 5 minutes to do, but it's that kind of stuff that we put off, especially us millennials, because we hate talking on the phone. But that's what I did for the planning period, or the reflection period, I guess, of my morning routine today. And I was also hungry, so I decided to eat a bagel while I was doing it. That's one thing that I noticed about getting up earlier and exercising first thing in the morning, is that some days I am hungrier. And so I just listen to my body and honor that, along with, you know, making sure that I get the right probiotics, taking my vitamin D, taking my iron, taking my fiber. I definitely have to make sure that I increase my fiber consumption to counteract the iron. I have to say, I honestly feel better now than I've felt in months and months. It's been such a positive experience for me. And actually, I will share with you guys on the screen here that my watch just notified me this morning that I have had my longest move streak. I have hit my activity goals 20 days in a row. I'm so proud of myself. It's been such a long time since I've done that. I just think, especially for us women and moms who take care of our children or take care of other people, sometimes our self-care can be the last thing that we think about. And so maybe this will encourage you to do something for yourself, even if it's small. Obviously, it's really hard for us to take care of other people if we don't invest in ourselves first. So overall, I would say that this 5 a.m. club challenge for me has been fantastic. It is something that I have stuck with, and I am going to be doing for the foreseeable future. And I've even got Adam into doing it. How funny is that? Not funny. I shouldn't say it's funny. It's like when I told him I was doing this, he kind of looked at me like very confused, and then he started doing it with me, and it's been really fun. So yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed today's video. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Thanks again to Ombre Labs for sponsoring today's video. Remember, you guys can get your test for $30 off in the description box below. You can go to tryombre.com/Jen to get that deal. So make sure that you check that out. Thanks so much for watching today, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.